What's up everybody, it is I, Hero Vange, and welcome to my Twilight Cup tournament video. Now, this is the very first Silph Arena tournament that I joined. I was not able to join the Boulder Cup. I had a lot of fun, and I was very satisfied with the results. This is the team that I went with. I have Toxicroak with Counter, Mud Bomb, and Sludge Bomb. Drapion with Infestation, Aqua Tail, and Sludge Bomb. Azumarill with Bubble Play Rough and Ice Beam. Venomoth with Confusion, Psychic, and Silver Wind. Skuntank with Poison Jab, Sludge Bomb, and Crunch. And Golbat with Wing Attack, Shadow Ball, and Poison Fang. I tried my very best to build a team that was well balanced and had no obvious weaknesses that my opponents could exploit. My first opponent here is Dawn Sage WTT, and at the time, my friends were scaring me. They were trying to psych me out. They told me that Dawn Sage here is the #1 Mystic player in the Philippines, and I'm actually not even sure if that's true, but it did get me. I did panic a little bit. I went really quiet. I started reasoning in my mind that, oh, I have an excuse now if I lose to this guy. He's the #1 player. He's the #1 Mystic player in the Philippines, right? But joking aside, my analysis of his team is that he has Skuntank. He doesn't have Golbat. He doesn't have Drapion. He doesn't have Quillfish. So I'm thinking, alright, he's probably gonna start with Skuntank. He is most likely gonna start with Skuntank because all the rest of these other guys are uncommon starters. So he's probably gonna start with the common starter, Skuntank. He has a Frenzy Plant, Venusaur as well. So I'm thinking, okay, he knows that I have an Azumarill, right? He's probably gonna bring in that Venusaur. He's most likely gonna bring that so that he can take down my Azumarill, but I will not bring my Azumarill because he does have that Frenzy Plant Venusaur. And at the time I was thinking, okay, I think if I start off with my Drapion, it can go toe-to-toe with Skuntank, maybe come out on top, and then maybe get to Venusaur. If it gets to Venusaur, then I'll have Infestation ready for Venusaur, which is going to be super effective against it. And also, I'm going to have Sludge Bomb, which he probably will not shield. And then, just in case my Drapion doesn't get to Venusaur, I will bring my Golbat. Because Golbat can also handle Venusaur, and he can handle Toxicroak, shielding my Drapion from that threat. Since he has Venomoth, I'm definitely not bringing in my Toxicroak, but my Skuntank has Crunch, and Crunch can handle Frostlass. It can handle Venomoth. It can also hit, Azumarill, just in case he brings this Azumarill, which isn't powered like all the way. It's not powered up to max, right? But, just in case he does bring it, I have Sludge Bomb for it. I went with Drapion, Skuntank, and Golbat as my team. It's a little bit ballsy, right? Because 2 of my Pokemon are weak to Toxicroak, but I do have Golbat. So I was banking on the fact that maybe I can handle it with just this team. Alright, so let's see how we do. So I pull out my Drapion, and as predicted, he pulls out his Skuntank, and I was so happy. I was so happy because Skuntank's fast moves are resisted by Drapion. Drapion's fast move is neutral to Skuntank, so I already had that advantage. I don't block the Crunch. He doesn't block these the first 2 Aqua Tail that I did, he didn't block, and that dealt so much damage to Skuntank. He does block this 3rd one, but it's already too late. I did so much damage. I wanted to keep my Drapion alive, so I shield this Flamethrower. He should have started off with like the Flamethrower. If he got the Flamethrower off, I would have been, closer to dying. He pulls out his Venusaur as predicted, and, he doesn't block this Sludge Bomb because he's a poison. He's thinking, okay, he doesn't have any super effective damage attacks. And so he didn't block the first one. He does block the second one, but did you see that damage? That damage was like really great. Okay, so he did get my Drapion down, but I have Golbat, and Golbat is gonna tank these Frenzy Plants like a tank, basically. Well, he's not even a tank, but look at that damage. It's nothing, right? And he takes out Venusaur. His last Pokemon is Venomoth, which is great because I didn't bring my Toxicroak. Venomoth would have like obliterated Toxicroak if I brought him, but yes, got the first match. I was really happy with the results of the first match, and so I felt like I didn't really need to change anything. Drapion, Skuntank, and Golbat. Second match, I pull out my Drapion. He pulls out his Azumarill, which is so unfortunate for him because I brought 3 poison Pokemon. I've got Drapion, Skuntank, and Golbat. All of them have poison attacks, which are going to be super effective against Azumarill. I don't block the first Ice Beam, thinking that I could psych him out. Maybe he's like one of those shield for shield persons. No, he blocks it. He knows about Sludge Bomb because of what happened to his Venusaur earlier. He doesn't block the second one though, and look at that damage. It does a lot of damage. He should have blocked that. I'm gonna take this Ice Beam because I know that I have Skuntank, and that is going to obliterate the remains of his Azumarill because Skuntank is super effective against Azumarill. He's gonna bring his Toxicroak. I'm prepared for that. I pull out my Golbat, which is gonna do super effective damage against Toxicroak. He pulls out his Venomoth, and even though Venomoth is super effective against Golbat, they're kind of like a 1-for-1 fight, right? But I'm thinking, okay, I gotta spend all my shields on Golbat. I gotta get Golbat to Toxicroak so that I can have that favorable matchup. Just get maybe like 3, 4, 5 hits in on Toxicroak or something like that. So I get him to last up to Toxicroak, and my Golbat just destroys his Toxicroak. And I take the second match. My next opponent was Zir3, and I noticed that on his team he had Azumarill and Alolan Ninetale. So I was thinking, okay, Skuntank. Skuntank has a Poison Fast move that is going to destroy those. So I definitely have to bring Skuntank, and I have to save shields for Skuntank. Okay. So, definitely gonna bring Skuntank. He can also handle Crobat. So, yeah. I was also thinking I have to cover that Tyranitar, but I'm kind of scared to bring in Toxicroak right now. So, I'm gonna go ahead and bring Azumarill, which is, you know, a safer anti-Tyranitar thing with the water, right? With the bubble. I wasn't really sure what he was gonna start off with. So, I was thinking, man, bring my Golbat. You know, it's a safe starter. I'm not really sure what he's gonna start off with. He might start off with Azumarill or I don't know, Crobat. I went with Golbat to start, Skuntank, and Azumarill. Alright, so I start off with my Golbat, and he starts off with his Toxicroak, and this could not have gone any better. Toxicroak is weak to Golbat. Golbat is a Toxicroak counter. He has to swap to his shiny Smackdown Tyranitar, and I swapped to my Azumarill. I predicted it so well. I am wrecking Tyranitar with Bubble, and I get this Ice Beam off, and he has to block it. Now, I know this is Stone Edge. I'm gonna go ahead and block it, because that's still gonna do a lot of damage, but as you can see, like with the fast move, with Bubble, I am wrecking Tyranitar. I'm gonna use this Ice Beam because I'm not sure how far he is from getting another Stone Edge that's gonna burn another shield. He brings in Toxicroak. I'm relaxed because I know that I still have Golbat, but he fakes me right here. He gets off a Mud Bomb, and I shield it thinking it was like Sludge Bomb because I knew that I could get like this Ice Beam off, like burning another shield, but it is what it is. Okay, he's gonna kill my Azumarill here with Mud Bomb, but I have Golbat ready to go with a Poison Fang. I'm just gonna Poison Fang because I'm not sure like what the last Pokemon is. I was thinking like Azumarill. It's Alolan Ninetale. It's very unfortunate for him because both my Pokemon are poison types, right? So I get off 2 Poison Fangs, dealing super effective damage, and Alolan Ninetales is almost dead. He's gonna get off the Psy Shock, which is super effective, but I have Skuntank. So that's game 1. So game 1 went really well, and I didn't want to give Zir a chance to make it back, right? So I wanted to seal the deal. So I used Azumarill to start off with because my thinking was if I dump my shields on Azumarill, it's probably going to kill 1 or 2 Pokemon because it is a tank, right? And then I'm going to follow up with Drapion just in case he brings his Smack Tyranitar again, right? Just in case. Because Drapion has Aqua Tail and Infestation, right? And since Golbat has been my MVP so far, bring Golbat also, you know, to cover Drapion's Toxicroak problem. So, yes, that is the team that I went with. I went Azumarill, Drapion, and Golbat. Start off with Azumarill. He brings in Alolan Muck, which is bad for me because Alolan Muck has a Poison Fast attack, which is super effective against Azumarill. That's bad. I get off his Ice Beam, and he doesn't block it, and that's crucial for me because I need to get this thing out of here. He uses Dark Pulse. I'm like, what? He used Dark Pulse. I thought he had like a poison charge move. He's probably psyching me out. So this next one I was thinking, okay, this is probably it. I'm gonna block it. He uses Dark Pulse again, so I was confused. Probably doesn't have Sludge Wave. I don't really know. But anyways, he brings in his Azumarill, and that panics. I got quite scared because Azumarill is a tank. I get a Play Rough off, and I'm gonna get another Play Rough off right there. So I'm gonna take his Azumarill down to like 1/3-ish health, and out of the two Pokemon that I have, I can't bring out Golbat because he's gonna get destroyed by Ice Beams. I bring out Drapion because I know that he can at least take one Ice Beam and deal Sludge Bomb damage. I do a Sludge Bomb. He blocks it though. Alright? And he is going to wreck my Drapion here with another... Oh, no, with a Play Rough. Okay, I bring in my Golbat. I'm so scared right now to get hit by an Ice Beam. And I'm sure this is an Ice Beam. I take an Ice Beam. I have like 1/4, 1/5. It's a little tiny bit of health left. He brings in this Toxicroak. And I'm like, oh my god, thank you. It's a Toxicroak. I use Shadow Ball right away. And that is game number 2. My third opponent was Ryan Wins the Rack. Or like Ryan Wins the Ratch. Not really sure like how to pronounce that part. But Ryan's team here is genius. It's straight up genius. Very difficult to predict. Let me tell you what's up, okay? I ended up gambling at the end, but let me tell you what's up, okay? He's got Tentacruel. He's got Alolan Muk. The two Pokemon at the ends of the team, those are big finisher Pokemon. That means if the last Pokemon on the field doesn't have shields, they will destroy it, right? With their gigantic charge moves. So I'm kind of scared about that. And they're also both poison, so I'm kind of scared to bring in Azumarill, right? So I'm thinking, alright, bring in Toxicroak. Toxicroak can handle both of those. But the thing is, he's enticing you. He's got a Venomoth. And Venomoth will dissolve Toxicroak in 4 hits. That's how good of a counter Venomoth is. So I'm scared. I'm like, oh my god, what if he gets my Toxicroak? That means GG. But it's really enticing you to use Toxicroak because he has Tyranitar as well, right? And I'm scared to use Azumarill because big poison type attacks that are gonna one-hit my Azumarill. I'm scared, dude. So I'm thinking, oh my god, what do I do? Yes, I could bring Venomoth for Tentacruel, but for Alolan Muk, that doesn't work, so I needed Toxicroak. So this is what I did. I gambled, basically, right? I have Skuntank, I have Drapion, I have Toxicroak. I need Toxicroak to cover whoever the finisher will be, right? He's probably not going to bring 2 finishers, but whatever that finisher is, I have to be able to get Toxicroak in with 1 shield, and yeah. But the problem is I don't have my own Toxicroak counter. That's the gamble right there. So if he brings in his Toxicroak, that's bad for me because I'm going to have to use my Toxicroak to counter his Toxicroak, and if that doesn't work out, then I'm dead, right? I do have these 2 Poison Darks. I have Drapion and I have Skuntank to cover Toxicroak if ever Venomoth comes in, but it's quite the gamble. Alright, so I start off with my Skuntank and he starts off with his Tyranitar. His Smackdown Tyranitar, which is a horrible matchup for me. He is enticing me to use my Toxicroak. He's enticing me to swap to my Toxicroak, right? But I don't want to do it because I know that he has a Venom. I can feel it, man. I can feel that Venomoth in the back of his lineup, just calling out Toxicroak's name. So I stay with my Skuntank. It's obviously like gonna get wrecked by Smackdown Tyranitar. It's actually pretty close, yeah. I bring in my Toxicroak, I shield this thinking it was like Stone Edge. It's actually Crunch, so he baited my shield. As you can see, I prepare the swap right away. He brings in Venomoth. I knew it. I friggin' knew it. And then he swaps to Alolan Muk. That is such a pro move. That is, oh my god. That was like next level. So I'm gonna get the... This is bad because Drapion was supposed to shield Toxicroak from Venomoth, right? But now Drapion's out here playing around with Alolan Muk and they're like almost 1-1. Well, not really, but I'm gonna get my Drapion killed here. Yeah. And then I'm gonna have to like bring in my Toxicroak. Of course, I killed that, but Venomoth says what's up and like, bye-bye. Bye-bye. So at this point, I was scared, intimidated, also kind of impressed, but I didn't want to lose. So I was thinking, okay, what is he like? What does he favor? He really likes that Smackdown Tyranitar. Okay, let me bring in a bunch of Pokemon that can handle Smackdown Tyranitar. So I got rid of Skuntank. I moved Drapion to the start because Drapion can handle Smackdown Tyranitar. I also brought in Azumarill, right? Just in case he brings in Smackdown Tyranitar like later on. I don't really know. Right? I brought in Toxicroak because a lot of his Pokemon are weak to Toxicroak. But the thing is, Venomoth. So that's still a thing. That's definitely still a thing that I'm scared of. It's a gamble again. Let's see how we do. I start off with Drapion and he pulls out his Tyranitar and I'm just so happy I predicted correctly because now I have this super effective Aqua Tail charge move which he does not block. That was so crucial for me. I blocked this thinking it was like a Stone Edge. It's a crunch. He probably doesn't have a Stone Edge. I'm not really sure, but definitely like something to keep in mind for later. He brings out Alolan Muck. Watch this clip right here. Drapion is an MVP. He is a machine gun. An Aqua Tail machine gun. That's 2 Aqua Tail. This is the 3rd one right here. You see how much spam can come out of this Pokemon? It's friggin' amazing. I love Drapion. Okay, so Alolan Muck is gonna get Drapion here, but yeah, Drapion doing a lot of work. I'm gonna pull out my Toxicroak here, get rid of that Alolan Muck like a pro. He's gonna pull out his Venomoth. Fortunately for me, I had enough for like a Sludge Bomb. I burned that shield, and yeah, I'm feeling pretty breezy because I have 1 shield. I have a Azumarill, right? So yeah, I'm feeling pretty good. Bubbles, you know, ice beams. And yeah, I'm gonna take a game. It's gonna take a little bit. He's gonna get the silver win. It's not gonna be enough to kill me. But yes, I take game number 2. Drapion was such an MVP for game 2. I had to keep him in. I didn't change anything. I kept Drapion. I still have Toxicroak and I still have Azumarill. Let's see how we do. So we start off with Drapion versus Alolan Muck. Now, this is a favorable matchup for me because I resist both the fast moves and the charge moves of Alolan Muck and I deal neutral damage. So I get off this Aqua Tail, alright? He's not going to shield at all. He is a little bit tankier than Drapion, but the thing is, he's not a machine gun. He's not a machine gun like Drapion is. I love Drapion. He's going to take down this Alolan Muck with Aqua Tail, alright? He's gonna swap in his Toxicroak, and I need to swap out because I need to preserve my Drapion for Venomoth, just in case. So I swap in my Azumarill. He baits my shield there. I thought it was a Sludge Bomb. It was actually a Mud Bomb. Now, this Play Rough, if it went through, it probably would have killed that Toxicroak. He shielded correct there. This is a Sludge Bomb. I shielded correct there as well. We're neck and neck. He has 1 shield, though. I'm gonna burn it with this Ice Beam. He has to block it, or else, you know, I get rid of that Toxicroak. He gets rid of my Azumarill with the Sludge Bomb. Now, this is really, really close. So, he swaps in his Venomoth. I had to swap to Drapion. Fortunately for me, I was able to get like 1 Aqua Tail. Venomoth, even though he is resisted, he did a lot of damage. I could not get that Aqua Tail off. I'm so scared right now. At this point, I was like, oh my god, I thought I was gonna lose. I get this Sludge Bomb off. I get rid of the Venomoth. Now, it's Toxicroak versus Toxicroak, and we tie. At this point, I was terrified. I had ice water running through my veins. I was so scared. But I was trying to keep a clear mind. I was thinking to myself objectively, right? Okay, Drapion is an MVP, alright? Doing really well. Azumarill was decent. The only Pokemon that I had that was doo-doo was Toxicroak. So I swapped him out, I put Golbat in, and this is the team that I went with. I have Drapion, Golbat, and Azumarill. So we start off with Drapion, and he starts off with Toxicroak. This is such a bad matchup right away. I need to swap, but I don't want to blow the surprise that I have Golbat, so I swap into my Azumarill. I shield this Mud Bomb, thinking it was like a Sludge Bomb, but I was freaked out, right? Okay, he swaps to his Alolan Muck. I get this Ice Beam, I burn 1 shield. This is, again, another bad matchup for me, okay? Alolan Muck has poison attacks that is going to destroy my Azumarill. I did manage to burn 2 shields. He gets off this Dark Pulse. I'm not going to shield my Azumarill because I know it's done for, and because I have Drapion, who is going to tank whatever Alolan Muck has to throw at it, okay? I'm gonna take that Dark Pulse like a boss, and I'm gonna return fire with Aqua Tail. Drapion, such an MVP. Such an MVP, okay? He pulls out his Toxicroak. I tried to swap there, but it did the charge move for some reason. Whatever, right? Okay, so I finally reveal that I have a fresh Golbat, and that is going to destroy his Toxicroak. Now, I'm almost charged up, and this Venomoth is gonna eat 1 Shadow Ball. It's gonna take that Shadow Ball to the face, and I'm gonna be able to take it down. So Golbat doing a ton of work. Drapion and Golbat definitely like my MVPs for this whole tournament. Yeah. So Shadow Ball to the face, and I take it. My fourth opponent is Rishi Rishu, and the first thing that I noticed about his team is that his Alolan Raticate and his Azumarill isn't powered up all the way to the end. Now, normally, I would think that these Pokemon are probably just filler, last minute like entries, so he's probably not gonna use them. But I shifted my thinking because we were so close to the finals. We were so close to the end of the tournament. I was willing to bet that he was going to use Azumarill because Azumarill is such a safe Pokemon, right? So to seal the deal, he's probably gonna use Azumarill, and I was thinking I gotta bring some poisons, a lot of poisons, right? I was also thinking to myself that Toxicroak is too risky to use now, right? It's too risky. It's too high risk, high reward type of thing, but the risk is like way too. I did not want to use Toxicroak, so my plan was I wanted to use two poisons that could handle Azumarill, but one was not Toxicroak, right? And I wanted one to be Golbat just in case he brought his Toxicroak. So what I did was, I used this tried and tested team. I used Golbat as the starter, I used Skuntank and Azumarill to back it up. I bring in my Golbat, and he also starts with Golbat, so it's a mirror match, and usually what determines the winner of a mirror match is your move choice. So I choose to do Shadow Ball because I know it's going to do a lot of damage. He takes it, it does a massive amount of damage even if it is neutral. I shield this thinking he was also going to do Shadow Ball, but it was a Poison Fang, and so I bring down his Golbat. He brings in his Azumarill. I'm going to do a Poison Fang right away. He decides to shield it, so I get to burn one shield. I do another Poison Fang. It's going to do super effective damage, but Poison Fang is a very weak attack. I'm going to decide to shield this Ice Beam because I know I can get off another charge move. I'm gonna go for the Shadow Ball because if he doesn't shield this is gonna do a lot of damage to Azumarill, but he decides to shield it. Alright, I'm gonna bring in my Azumarill. And the reason why is I actually don't remember why. Right? I don't remember why, but it worked out. He brought out his Toxicroak. I hit it with an Ice Beam. It's almost dead. He is gonna hit me, and I thought this was gonna be a Sludge Bomb, but it's not. It's a Mud Bomb. Right? I don't know what's happening right now, like, in my head, but yeah. I Ice Beam. I get that Toxicroak down. Now, this is looking really advantageous for me because even if he takes out my Azumarill, I still have Skuntank. And Skuntank is super effective against Azumarill. And so I'm gonna take this match. First match went really well, so I didn't want to mess with the magic. I still went with Golbat, Skuntank, and Azumarill. We start off with another Golbat versus Golbat mirror match, and he has learned from his previous mistakes. I'm gonna do the Shadow Ball right here, and this time, he is actually going to shield it. Unfortunately, my camera falls down. I was able to catch my camera with my foot, so it's okay, no need to worry about it, but I did have to stop the recording. Shouts out to Rishi, who also helped me out. Anyways, his Golbat is gonna get a Shadow Ball. I'm gonna have to block it. I'm gonna get another Shadow Ball. He's gonna block it. This time, he was able to fake me with a Poison Fang early on, and so he has the energy advantage here. He's gonna get off a Poison Fang that will take out my Golbat, giving him the lead. I bring out my Skuntank, and my Skuntank is going to take this Poison Fang to the face because I don't have any more shields. My Skuntank takes out his Golbat. He brings in his Toxicroak. It's a very bad matchup for me. I swap to my Azumarill, and he swaps to his Skuntank, and that's really bad because Skuntank is super effective against Azumarill. I'm gonna get off that Ice Beam. He doesn't have any more shields, but this Skuntank is gonna take my Azumarill out with a super effective Sludge Bomb, and this is looking really bad for me, okay? I take out his Skuntank with a Crunch, but he has Toxicroak ready to go with a Mud Bomb, and he takes match number 2. For the third match, what I was thinking was, okay, he really likes that Toxicroak. So what I'm gonna do is, I'm gonna hide my Golbat. I put my Golbat at the 3rd position there for countering Toxicroak specifically, okay? I also noticed that he loves to start with his Golbat. So what I did was, I put my Skuntank at the start of the team because I know that Skuntank can handle Golbat with ease as long as he has shields. I put Azumarill in the middle there just because I wanted an anchor because, you know, we're really close to the final. So the team that I went with was Skuntank as my starter with Azumarill and Golbat. I start off with Skuntank, and as predicted, he starts off with Golbat. Now, this is great for me because even though my fast move is resisted by Golbat, I have a neutral charge attack, Crunch, which is gonna wreck Golbat if he doesn't block it, but he blocks it, okay? And he realizes that he swaps in Toxicroak, so I swap in my Toxicroak counter, Golbat. Now I know Golbat can handle whatever Toxicroak has. I don't shield there. I'm not even going to use charge moves. I'm going to charge up my Golbat so that he can wreak havoc to whoever comes after. Okay, Mud Bomb, don't shield. I take out that Toxicroak. He brings in his Golbat. Now I know that this has energy, so I shielded there thinking it was a Shadow Ball. No, he faked me. It was a Poison Fang. I get off my Shadow Ball. Alright, and he lets loose another one, and I thought it was Shadow Ball again, but it was another poison. He faked me twice. I do, however, get the Shadow Ball off. It's gonna do massive damage, but unfortunately not enough to kill it. He is going to take my Golbat down with a Poison Fang, but yeah, things are looking really good. He brings in his Skuntank, and I am able to get this Crunch off. And it's not gonna deal very effective damage, but damage is damage. He is going to wreck my Skuntank with Flamethrower. And it's Azumarill versus Skuntank. Now, I know Azumarill can take at least one Sludge Bomb. So, I'm going to take this. And I'm going to return fire with an Ice Beam. And I'm going to take round number 3. Now, here we are at the finals. And my opponent is the Braulio man, who is a friend of mine. Me and him have been battling for maybe like 2 weeks at this point. And yeah, his team is pretty well balanced. He's got Toxicroak counters, he's got poisons, he's got Azumarill, and of course he's got Toxicroak. So our match was going to come down to prediction and skill, which is how I wanted it to be. So what I was thinking at the time was, he's most likely going to bring Azumarill because we're at the finals. You want to bring a huge gun to the table, right? So I was thinking, yeah, he's most likely going to use Azumarill, who is the tank of the meta, who can take down one, almost two Pokemon if you use him correctly. So I am going to bring some poison Pokemon to handle Azumarill. That's what I was thinking. If I bring in 2 poisons, that Azumarill is toast. It's gone, right? Sludge Bomb to the face, you're out of here, or I'm going to burn like a lot of shields, and then I'm going to have like that backup poison, and that Azumarill is going to go, right? But if he brings in his Toxicroak, that's going to be really bad for me. So I thought, okay, I haven't used Venomoth yet. Maybe it's finally time to bring Venomoth. He might bring his Toxicroak, and I need to shield the poisons from Toxicroak, so I'm gonna go ahead and bring Venomoth. So what I brought was, for the 2 poisons, I brought Drapion and Skuntank. Drapion because I saw that he had Alolan Muck, and Drapion can handle Alolan Muck really well, and I know from previous battles that he really favors that Alolan Muck. I didn't want to bring my own Toxicroak to counter it because I'm scared to use Toxicroak at this point. And so Drapion, right? And I also brought Skuntank, who can handle most things, plus can kill Azumarill with ease. Their bodyguard is Venomoth, just in case he brings his Toxicroak. I start off with my Drapion, and he starts off with his Azumarill. My prediction was correct again, and now I have a super effective Sludge Bomb ready to go. So I get it off right there. And he's gonna need to block it, because if he doesn't, it's going to destroy his Azumarill. I'm going to let this charge move go, so I let it hit me because I knew that he had Alolan Muck, and I need to save shields for that. He swaps. I thought it was Toxicroak, but it was actually Alolan Muck. So I do an Aqua Tail right here, and unfortunately, my camera falls again. But this time, my friend offered to hold it for me, so I was really grateful for that. Maraming salamat, Aton, kung nanonood ka. Thank you. Shoutout sa'yo, pare. So he gets my Drapion down with his Alolan Muck. I really wasn't able to follow that. Honestly, I was so distracted at this point. I blocked that Dark Pulse. I should not have blocked that Dark Pulse. I could have taken it with Skuntank, as you can see right there. I get his Alolan Muck down. So I have Skuntank battling his Azumarill, but unfortunately for me, he still has shields. So I do get the Sludge Bomb off, but the thing is, he blocks it. If I got that Sludge Bomb, that would have been GG for his Azumarill. He swaps his Azumarill out right there, bringing in Golbat, who can tank the Sludge Bomb, and I'm like, oh no. This is really bad. I swapped to my Venomoth, which is gonna do super effective damage, but it's kind of like a 1-1 fight. I honestly shouldn't have brought Venomoth. I really regret bringing Venomoth. I get it down with that Silver Wind, with like a sliver of health left. Azumarill takes my Venomoth down, and yeah, that sucks for me. I was rattled. Very, very scared. But I couldn't get this one thought out of my head, right? I couldn't get this one thought out of my mind. Venomoth is complete garbage. Venomoth is so trash. The one time that I brought my Venomoth in, the one time that I needed him to be decent, he was The thing is, it is my fault, right? I thought that he was gonna bring in Toxicroak. He didn't bring in his Toxicroak. I should have thought that, but Venomoth, bro, come on. But anyways, I got rid of Venomoth and I swapped in Azumarill because I need this. I need this. I need to bring in the big gun. Need to bring in Azumarill because I thought earlier, you know, if I had Azumarill, he probably would have taken out that Crobat and he would have done a lot of damage to the Azumarill, and then my Skuntank could like close it. I don't know. It's just Venomoth. I gotta get rid of Venomoth. And Azumarill is a solid choice. So I was still in the mindset that he was going to bring in his Azumarill because it's the finals. He needs to close it, right? So he's gonna bring in that big gun. He's gonna bring in Azumarill. And I was also thinking he's not gonna risk bringing his Toxicroak. He is most likely not gonna bring it because it's too risky, right? What if I bring Venomoth again? He saw that I just brought my Venomoth, right? Another thing that I was thinking at the time was that Alolan Muck is probably his favorite Pokemon. He's gonna bring in that Alolan Muck, and that Alolan Muck is going to be handled by my Drapion. So the team that I brought, again, 2 poisons to handle Azumarill because I thought that he was gonna bring Azumarill. So Drapion, who can also handle Alolan Muck, right? And Azumarill. Skuntank, specifically for Azumarill. Specifically to get rid of that. And my Azumarill. I start off with my Drapion and he starts off with his Drapion, and that's really bad because 1, I don't have any Pokemon that can actually handle his Drapion. 2, my Drapion was supposed to beat his Alolan Muck or fire Sludge Bombs at his Azumarill, which he, you know, could still have, right? So we're doing this back and forth thing where we Aqua Tail, we don't shield each other, and yeah, he gets off his Aqua Tail right here. Alright, we're basically trading Drapion for Drapion here, and it's not good because I needed my Drapion for other matchups. At the last moment, I buckle, I shield that Aqua Tail. I get off this Aqua Tail, and he's going to let his Drapion fade. And I was thinking maybe I can get like an Aqua Tail on whatever comes after. Let's see. It's Toxicroak. This is the worst case scenario because I was gambling on the fact that he wouldn't bring his Toxicroak. I don't have any Toxicroak counters. I bring in my Azumarill, I get this Ice Beam, he shields it, and right here is the biggest mistake I have ever made, and it was at the most crucial point. I shielded that Mud Bomb thinking it was a Sludge Bomb, and he follows up with a Sludge Bomb that actually hits me. This was game. That was it. It's Skuntank versus Toxicroak, and it's, you know, he still has a shield, I think. Yeah, he does. He still has a shield. GG. I zoomed out the camera footage because I wanted you to see like my reaction plus everybody else's reaction. Good game, the Braulio man. Alright, so that was my Twilight Cup experience. I hope you enjoyed watching that. I had a ton of fun playing in it, and I will definitely join more tournaments in the future. I'm already preparing for the Tempest Cup, which is this month's themed cup. So yeah, we'll see how I do there. Congratulations to the Braulio man. It definitely came down to prediction at the very end there, and yeah, he got me good. So if you enjoyed this content, remember to leave a like, subscribe if you haven't yet, and ding that notification bell. I'll see you on the next one. Bye, guys!